In a recent interview, Keir Starmer attempted to clarify his controversial remarks regarding Israel's military actions against Gaza, but his explanations only served to deepen concerns. He stated that while Israel has the right to defend itself, he did not endorse cutting off Gaza's essential resources. However, this statement raises serious questions about his understanding of humanitarian consequences. This is not just about a geopolitical conflict, it's about a man who is supposed to lead a nation but seems to be fumbling through critical issues with alarming ignorance. This is particularly disturbing given the context of his recent appearance at PMQS, which was nothing short of a political train wreck. Starmer's performance was abysmal, and it's impossible to ignore the optics. It was as if he had shown up to an important job interview with his shirt on backward. His clash with Kemi Badenoch was cringeworthy. He attempted to dodge questions regarding the grooming gang investigations, which are still a hot topic that demands transparency and accountability. Badenoch didn't hold back, pressing him on why the victims deserve answers. Watching Starmer struggle to respond was painful, and it raised critical questions. Why is he so resistant to an investigation? One would expect an opposition leader to advocate for clarity and justice, yet here he was, lost and floundering. This isn't merely about political performance, it cuts to the core of trust in leadership. Starmer's seeming inability to grasp the importance of these issues makes you wonder what else he's hiding. Why is he acting as if the grooming gang issue is beneath him? It's appalling that even figures like Elon Musk are weighing in on his failures, highlighting just how far Starmer has fallen in the public eye. When a billionaire starts calling out your incompetence, you know you've hit rock bottom. Starmer's attempts to distance himself from Jeremy Corbyn have also backfired. While he claims loyalty to the former leader's anti-austerity stance, he can't shake the accusations of being a danger to the British Jewish community. This contradiction is glaring. If he's truly against the systemic failures within his party, why isn't he taking a more aggressive stance to rectify these issues? Allegations are swirling that cases of abuse have been inadequately investigated during his leadership, and it's becoming increasingly hard to believe that he wasn't aware of these travesties. Let's break this down. Starmer was the head of the Crown Prosecution Service when these horrific grooming gang revelations began to surface. What did he do? How did he respond? From the outside, it looks like he turned a blind eye while prioritizing his political future. Is he complicit in a culture that protects perpetrators over victims? The whispers of a fear-driven environment within the CPS are troubling. Staff members felt pressured to avoid cases that could be perceived as racially sensitive. This is a serious dereliction of duty for someone in his position. The call for a general election is growing louder, and the signatures on petitions are piling up. It's a movement driven by outrage, 140,000 signatures, and counting. People across the country are fed up with the failures of this corrupt Labour government. Reports have surfaced detailing systemic failures, yet Starmer's inaction speaks volumes. It's an absolute disgrace that he would oppose a new investigation into gang activities while claiming that victims want immediate action. Some survivors are actually calling for that investigation, but Starmer chooses to ignore their pleas. His tenure as Attorney General paints a grim picture. Serious failures occurred under his watch, and the evidence suggests he simply looked the other way. The notion that he would prioritize his reputation over justice is not only disappointing but downright dangerous. He's engaging in political maneuvering instead of addressing the pressing issues that plague our society. He's forgotten that he's supposed to be a leader, not a lawyer skirting tough questions. The fiasco surrounding his personal staff has unearthed a slew of secrets about his past. As head of the CPS, he was in charge during a time when the public needed someone to step up and confront these issues. Instead, what we see is a man who appears to prioritize his own safety over the safety of vulnerable children. Former CPS employees allege that a climate of fear permeated the organization, with a focus on maintaining a false image rather than fulfilling their responsibilities. Starmer's decisions lean toward rejecting prosecution, and the public is beginning to see through this facade. The grooming gangs exploit vulnerable young people, often from foster care or disadvantaged backgrounds. The horrors inflicted upon these children are unimaginable, and yet Starmer seems more interested in political correctness than in delivering real justice. Yasmin Vinder, a prominent activist, has been vocal in her condemnation of this injustice, reminding us that these issues are ongoing and unacceptable. It's outrageous that Starmer would dismiss the plight of these victims while he plays political games. In the end, the integrity of both political parties is in question, and the public is no longer willing to accept empty rhetoric. The people want action, not excuses. Starmer's reluctance to confront the uncomfortable truths about grooming gangs raises serious doubts about his leadership abilities. How can we trust someone who is so clearly out of touch with the very real suffering of victims? The time for change is now, and the people are ready to hold their leaders accountable. Share your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is far from over.